Hi, my name is Alessandro Gangiolosi and that's a video tutorial coming from cgcookie.com for Max Cookie. This time we work on the part 2 for the tire dust with FumeFX tutorial series, and we have to continue working on the loop and the final simulation dynamic. So let's start working a little bit on the shader for the road, and let's go inside the material editor, and I like to change a little bit the look. So let's copy the map and we move to a little bit of specularity and glossiness, and I like to change a little bit the mapping there. So I'd like to have visible just, you see, the road and less of the side area. Let's remove the blur and we can go there, maybe gain there. Let's see if we have some parameter we can use. Relief, both angle, random seed, luminosity, saturation. Now we have nothing I can use actually. So let's go there and let's try to have the same map there. So let's see there. Okay, let's copy this one on specular level and let's go there, and let's say to use this one, sorry, as specular. So you see we are changing the way it works. Okay, now we can use the same map for the bump. So copy, and we say there to use as bump. Okay, let's render this frame just to see how it looks. Okay, that's our basic rendering. So now we can go there and create also, we are doing a really simple render, so we'll use the skylight. Let's set to the right color. Let's try with something like that, and we set to 0.5, and let's see if it is enough. Maybe it's also a little bit too much, so let's go for something more darker and a little bit less lighting. So let's try with 0.35, and it seems not bad. So you see that maybe we have the road inside. Let's say that this one, it's not a problem, we can create the camera later. We have to move this one a little bit down. Okay, and get back there. And let's see from this point of view. We are using a low res substance there because it's not the main thing we have to do, so we can use a lower value. And we have the plane there visible, so let's go there, select the plane, and let's say that the emitter is not renderable, and we can see it again. And I think that the general look is okay. We are not working so much over the tire and the metal stuffs, but it's just to see how it works. Maybe we have just to have the road a little bit darker, so we can go there in the substance there, and let's say that we like to have, let's see the map, less luminosity. You see we are working on a more contrast and a darker luminosity. So let's see if it's better or not. It is a little bit better because I like to have a an old road look. So now I'd like to have something over that can be similar to a sand. So we can go there over the diffuse, and let's say that we like to have a composite keep all map, so we can use the first one, and then the second one, let's say that will be an RGB tint, and we can go for something similar to a sand layer. So this one can be black, and we can copy using the drag to this one. And then we need a map, and the map we can use a noise. Let's set a lower scale, 64, and we can see later if it is enough. I think it will be really big. Let's select this one, tools, isolate selection, and let's zoom and render. Okay, we have to check the scale because I think it's really big. Let's try with something more little. Or maybe now the problem is the contrary, so maybe it is too much little. Okay, now it's right, so the scale was really low. Let's imagine to have 6000, a really big scale. Okay, and let's go for something like fractal, and let's say 6 levels, and let's say maybe 3500. And I like to change the color there, something more saturated. Okay, something like that. Let's go back there, and let's say that we have something like that. So you see more dust all over the road. So you see we have dust all over. And we can set this one to 75%. Okay, let's go back out of the isolation mode. So you see, it seems that we have a little bit of dust all over the road. Maybe we can have a little bit less in some areas, so it is enough to change this one, let's say to maybe 0.1, and let's check it. Okay, so we have dust all over. Now we can continue playing with the other stuffs, and we should play with the tire rendering to have the dust also over the tire, but it's not important because the volumetric stuff will simulate the presence of dust. So let's save. Let's save in the right folder. So let's create 3ds Max FX tire dust with FumeFX part 2. And this one will be part 2. Okay, so we have the basic stuff for the shaders there, and we have now to go back working on the volume. And let's open the FumeFX, and let's open also the preview. I'd like to resimulate using this scale, and I like to have a little bit more damping. So let's go for 15, and I like to see how it looks. So let's simulate. And we'll see now with a little bit more damping, so we'll have more dragging, air drag over the dust. We'll see if it will be better or not. I can stop the recording so we can see the result together in a few minutes. Okay, so let's check what we have actually. And it seems that we need more wind. Okay, so we can try to have this one higher. Let's try with 300, sorry, and let's rotate a little bit this one in this way, and let's go back there. And I like to have the smoke dissipating a little bit faster, so let's go there, and let's say that we have this one. Let's try at 60, and let's make another test simulation so we can see how it works. I can stop the recording and we can see the result in a few. Okay, we can stop it and we can check. So let's see what we have. You see that now we have more wind and it works better. It seems not bad. We have to play maybe a little bit over the okay, let's play a little bit with the look. So we need for sure to have more road, and we can make a copy. So let's clone this one as an instance, and maybe we can have not an instance done using the copy, but just using a mirror over the x-axis instance. Sorry, that's the wrong way, so let's do it from there. Mirror over the y-axis, and I'm moving it. Okay, something like that. Okay, let's save and let's try to render this frame. You see that the dust is really heavy. And we have also, I think, the particle there or something that is creating the a shadow or something like that. So we have to check it later. To check it, we can go there inside the particle flow source. Let's check it there. Right mouse button, properties, and it is not visible. Let's say also to remove the shadows, and later we check if it is enough or not. Let's go at full screen, and we have to tune a little bit this one. I like to see the look there, for example, and we have to go there where the illumination is okay, and let's go there. Let's close fire, let's close rendering and fuel. Okay, and let's play a little bit there. So let's say that the environment is darker and it's something like a really dark brown, and let's render so we see the differences during the simulation. Okay, and I like to make it more similar to this one, so it must be a little bit more clear and with a little bit less saturation. Let's render it. Okay, you see now it's a little bit more similar to this one. And another thing is the how much it's visible, and let's see also the alpha, it's enough. So maybe we have to use a little bit less. Let's try with 0.01 and render. Okay, so you see it's not so high, and maybe we need a little bit more dust over the road. So you see I'm going to have less black area there, so we'll have more sand over the road, and it will be right to have so much dust moved by the road, by the tire. Okay, I'd like to see which is there the problem, so let's try to pick this one and to hide it, and let's render it so we can see if the problem comes from. Okay, the problem is there, and we have to investigate to understand which is the problem. Let's try to remove also this one, because before we had no problem, and now we have it. So okay, we had two mesh, so let's remove this one and then hide by name plane, and that's the other copy. So now it must work without the artifacts, and okay, but it's wrong there, the attachment, because we are using the attachment with the mirror, so it's better to have this one longer. So let's go there for the perspective, or before we can go in the camera again, and we have the road there, so we need to make it longer, and let's see if it is enough, and it is not enough, but we can move it, sorry, over the y-axis. And we can move it a little bit, because you see we don't need so much there, and it's not enough. Let's try with 70,000, and there, starting from there, and we need still a little bit, so let's go for 80,000 and move it there, and let's see if we have enough road, and we have still not enough road, so we have to go for a higher level, so 100,000, and let's move it, and now it should be okay, I think. Okay, you see the end there, but it's not a problem. Okay, so let's save. Okay, so let's hide the FumeFX, and let's select it. Okay, I'd like to move it a little bit inside, so we have the right calculation, and we have to calculate it back, and this time I like to simulate with the I'd like also to see if we use a gravity vector, let's go in the perspective view. Okay, and let's select this one, and we have the wind, and let's select this one, and let's see if it's better or not. But this time I like to see with the also the wavelet turbulence. So let's start the simulation, and we'll see the result together as soon as it will be ready. So let's check actual simulation result, and it seems really not bad. Okay, we have for sure to check the, let's see also from this point of view what we have during the rendering. Okay, that's really not bad. Okay, I think we have to check what happened when we have the wavelet turbulence. So let's go there and let's say that it must save the wavelet turbulence there. We can call it tire there. Okay, and let's say that the scale can be enough for the moment. Maybe we can go for 3, and the strength, let's try to have 4 for the smoke, and we have no fire and no fuel. Okay, we can go there and say wavelet simulation mode, and we can start preparing the wavelet simulation mode. So let's wait to see it. Okay, let's try to check what we have, for example, there without the need to wait for more frames. So let's go there and let's say to use the wavelet turbulence, and let's check there and single, and let's see a render. You see that we have a really high amount of detail, and maybe it's too much. I like to go near the smoke to see it better, and it can be maybe not so good to have a really high value for the wavelet turbulence. Okay, I like to check also from the other point of view. Understood perfectly. Okay, so I prefer to have a really lower value for the wavelet, because you see that, for example, if we stay there in this point of view with a camera with a lower resolution, it is better, so we don't need so high level, and we have also to have a better quality for the shadows, and I mean we have maybe to stay with the value we have there. So let's go to check the light. You see that there is something wrong with the lighting, so perspective, and we have this light, and that's the problem, the main problem. Okay, so let's change it to directional, and let's say that it's there, and target. Sorry, we have to move the target there. Okay, and maybe just a little bit. So this one can be linked to there, and this one will be overshoot. But before we have to change the hotspot beam. And we have to be sure that we are picking the entire road. So another thing we can do is to link this one to the main light, but to work with a simpler thing, we can zoom it. As you see that we need too much, so let's do it more little, and the same there, but with the overshoot. And we can wait that we have the tire there, then we select this one, okay, and we can link it to this one, but we have dependency, so we can go there, and let's say it's not targeted, and link it now. Okay, let's link it to the dummy. Okay, perfect. Let's go, for example, at this frame, and let's see the shadows parameters there. Let's go for 0 there, 1024, and I like to have it a little bit with the blurring over the shadows. Okay, let's see, for example, there. And let's see from the other point of view. And that's okay. Okay, so let's save. And last thing we can do is to add some environment to the scene. Let's remove the grid using the G key. And to do this, we can do a really simple thing. So we can create a plane. Okay, you see we have it there, and we need for sure to move it or to scale it. So let's go there, and we can let's say use a little bit less. Let's try with something like that now there, and you see that we see maybe there must be a little bit bigger. Okay, it's not a problem that we there we have not all the mesh we need, so we can go for something like that there, and we can make a copy using the shift key on the other side as a copy, because maybe we need to scale it, and we can make it longer. and a little bit bigger. And here we can move it a little bit to have on the right side of the root. Okay, so let's select this one and let's have more polygons. We will do something really simple, so please don't check the quality of this mesh because it's really simple. Let's go there. Let's use a soft selection. Okay, you see something until there, and then we can use a noise, fractal, and let's use a higher value for, you see, something like that. Let's see what we have from this point of view. Okay, we can have less, and let's say then edit poly, so this one is closed, and let's make a really simple material, send env, and this one will be something similar to the ground, a little bit of specularity, and the specularity will be something like that. And then we use there inside the reflection a fall off with a Fresnel, and let's say we have again this color. Let's see what we have in rendering. Let's remove for the moment this one. Okay, the problem is the shadows, because we have no shadows there, and maybe we can use the skylight. So let's select the sky and let's say cast shadow. Let's try with 5. So we'll have a little bit of shadows maybe there, but it's not so much visible. So first of all, let's move it a little bit down. Let's use a turbo smooth. Okay, and let's see what we have there now. It is really clear. We have maybe a little bit of visibility for the shadows there. Let's go in the material and let's try to have a darker color like this one, and for the ambient we'll have a darker color too. So it is not so much visible, but it gives, there you see the possibility to have just an environment, a really simple environment. We don't need nothing so special, it's just to have no black color all around. So let's select this one, and maybe we need more subdivision. Let's try with 120 and 120, and then edit mesh, edit poly, and we select there, and then soft selection, and let's use an higher value. This is too much, something less. Okay, something like that. And then we can use again a noise, fractal, and it starts using a really high value, something like that. Okay, then edit poly again, and we can use a mesh smooth. Let's go, sorry, a turbo smooth, and we can assign the same material. And let's see what we have there inside the rendering now. It is nothing so good, but it's not bad for the purpose we have there. So it's a really simple environment there. Okay, let's close there, and I think we can do the final simulation. And to do the final simulation, let's go in the default sim, and I think we can have a little bit less scale, something like 30. We'll create also the wavelet turbulence, so later we can decide if we need it or not. And let's now create the sim. Okay, it will take a little bit. We can stop the recording during the time we have to wait. Okay, let's check, for example, until there how it looks. It seems not bad. Maybe you have to tune a little bit the speed. Okay, so let's check, for example, there what we have in the rendering. It is slow because we are using the sky to generate also shadows, so please imagine that it will be faster if we have just the sunlight. Okay, it seems not bad there. Let's check after a while, for example there, that we are more near the tire and the dust. And that's the result. Obviously in this case it will be useful to have a little bit of wavelet turbulence. So let's see if we go there in wavelet, and there we see maybe 2 for the grid scale and nothing so much for the strength, so a low strength as 2. Let's see what happens. We'll see maybe just some frames, so I will calculate maybe 30 or 40 or maybe maximum 50 frames. So I'd like just to see if we are adding just a little bit of detail. I don't like to have too little detail over the smoke because it will be not so realistic. So let's wait maybe for more 20 frames, and if everything will be fine, I think we have the right final result and we are ready to render it. Maybe you can tune in your way the speed of the tire and the speed of the wind to have a different result. of the dust moving. Let's wait for maybe 10 more frames. I think that the detail is enough. Okay, let's stop it and we render this frame. So let's render it with the default cache. And then we make the same render using the I'd like also to check the material there. Okay, let's render the same using the Wavelet cache. I think that the result is not bad there. Now we see a comparison with the other render. Okay, so you see that the result is better because we have more detail, and I think we can go with this one. And so when we are ready, we have just to launch the simulation, because I didn't finish to save the simulation, and then we can have the final result. So for the moment I can save and I can launch the final one. Okay, so this video was a really simple introduction to use FumeFX in a different way to create dust, and we made a really simple setup. Obviously you can fix it and make it better, and in the future we'll prepare a more complex tutorial talking about dust and sand created using FumeFX. So for the moment that's all, and I hope to see you back on MaxCookie to check for new tutorial coming from cgcookie.com. Bye.